I've dragged everything out here. I've got no plans again today. I promised myself I'd be organised, but Miss Princess Willow has had other plans today. She's been trying to convince me to go somewhere, and it's okay to go to the destination, even if we just walk down to the lake. But at the moment, neither of us can get back up the hill, and I don't have access to a car to come and pick us up when we get stuck. But she's been such a character. After being sick those few weeks, she's just really come into life. While I'm saying this, I don't want you to see how messy my bloody veranda is at the moment, but I want you to see her. She's been insisting on laying out here in the sun. She won't stay in the backyard. She's got to be with Mama. So I have to be within her. She's got to be able to see me and hear me. But she threw herself on the lawn. She wanted to go to the toilet earlier. So I took her out. She pressed the button and said outside, outside, which usually means toilet. I haven't done a toilet button yet. And threw herself on the lawn here and refused to come inside. So I've just jigged up a couple of leads here for her. When I came out earlier to plug the video in, she was rolling around on the lawn with the biggest grin on her face, and you just can't help but smile at her. She's been such a sweet, happy, such a lovely girl. Very demanding though. The demands lately, my goodness. I've actually raised my voice at her like 2 or 3 times a day lately because, my God, Mama, I want this and I want it now. And if I don't give it to her now, she yells and chucks tantrums. But she's been such a happy little being. I'm trying to get her in. I was hoping she'd roll around for you a bit more, show off a bit. And I'll tell you what, she's a big sticky beak. She's got to know what's going on in the neighbourhood. I usually don't care. I come inside and close the door and that's it. But no, she has to know what's going on. But anyway, how about we get back to some textiles and sewing and stuff instead of this little princess. She's been wearing jackets lately as well. The latest one that she's been choosing is a dry as a bone. Well, I took it off her this morning so she can lay in the sun. But anyway, let's get back to sewing. I'm going to... I don't want you to see how this bloody mess I've got here. It's ridiculous. And now that I've done that, of course, the camera doesn't want to go. Of course, it's just going to flop down and collapse and go where I don't want it to go. For some reason, this won't stay tight. That's a bit better. Goodness gracious. So I've got my little vintage breakfast tray here with some things on it, and I've got some bags on the floor here. So let's get into it. Again, no idea what I'm going to do today. As I mentioned, I promised myself last time that I would be organised this time, and I would actually have, crying out loud, deep breath. I promised myself I'd actually have a project to work on with you. Well, I don't. I've been unwell. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm having a lot of tests done. We're starting to think it may just be perimenopause, but my gosh, it's been making me crook, on and off. So, like violently crook, every now and then, for days at a time. But anyway, let's get back to this. I wanted to show you from the Cave of Textile Treasures. I've been finding all sorts of things that I've forgotten I've done many, many years ago. I'm just going to have a drink of my coffee that I just made. I used to have the most beautiful handmade pottery coffee cup that I bought from a studio up the road many years ago. They actually have a water garden now. They sell water plants. And it was the best mug. It was this great big, it was actually, I think they actually originally made it as like a milk jug. It didn't have the lip on it though, like the spout. So I bought it as my coffee cup. I've still got it, but I dropped it one day and I've chipped a great big hunk out of it like that, big V. So that's a bummer. So my mother bought me this one. I wanted a great big coffee cup, but that's probably as big as I found. So back to this. Some textile treasures I've found in my collection. Things I've forgotten I've started. So many UFOs. It's mental. So many UFOs. So this is one. I think this is one. I can't remember if this is one we did at Guild or one my mother taught at U3A. So as you can probably see, for starters, see these? I reckon the silverfish might have got to that because this is all wool. This is all 2-ply. Shouldn't have used wool, hey? And of course this is just hessian. Just a piece of hessian. And I've started to do a hem stitch on the top here, and see, you cut it away so you don't have this daggy bit. Once you've done all your rows, you cut it away so it's nice and neat, but you've got that nice hem, decorative hem there. And then you just start doing rows of different stitches, and I think I've got a book here that I would have been using. Goodness, I've brought some stuff out again. Here we go. Counted thread embroidery stitches. This wouldn't have been the sole one. I've also got a couple of Schwarm books I bought many, many, many years ago. Schwarm is a German embroidery. And this was before I did a course with Guild. Oh, I can't remember how many years ago. I've still got the paperwork. In those days, it was very basic internet. And I managed to get the address for the Weschenstakiri, I can't pronounce it, the Museum of Schwarm in Germany. And I handwrote them a letter and said, look, I've heard about these 2 books, I'd love to buy them. And they just posted them to me. I've got them inside. One of them needs to be rebound. It was just a glued spine, a bit like this, and it's just fallen apart. But I use those as well. And one of these other pieces, you'll see why I've used that, where I've used that. So this one, I would have used this one for this book. It's hard, I don't have my bloody glasses on, of course. Are they up here? Oh, they are. I've lost my good glasses. I think I've mentioned that. I've lost them, I think, dragging them around. Because when I go, anywhere I go, if I go to a doctor's appointment, or I was going to hydrotherapy and hydro yoga, physiotherapy twice a week, and I'd take some stitching with me while I was waiting. And in doing that, I've lost my good glasses. So this is another book I would have used to do these stitches. So I've just used it as, used the hessian as a counted thread canvas, really. It's inexpensive. Well, it used to be. I haven't bought hessian for that long, and I've still got bits around, so I probably won't buy any for quite some time. But one of the reasons I remember we used hessian was because it was so much more affordable than linen. And it's all coming back to me now. I'm pretty sure this was taught, we may have originally done it at Guild, but I'm pretty sure that Mum and probably Rosie taught it at U3A. And the fact that I've got one means that I was probably there as a guest tutor. because I used to do guest tutoring at U3A. I wasn't a permanent tutor, but I used to do guest tutoring there. So the main reason we got the Hessian is because it was affordable. You know, some of the ladies, a lot of the ladies that were members of the U3A were on a pension. Well, they were all on a pension, or all, you know, or self-funded retirees, I suppose. And some of them didn't have a great deal of money, so Hessian's great to do this sort of stuff with. It's affordable and it's easy to see, easier to see than linen. So we started teaching it on this. And then of course you can, you know, go for your heart's content. It's just different stitches on the Hessian, using the warp and the weft as your stitch grid guide, you know what I mean? Of course, as usual, I'm losing my words. So I would have used this book. Here's some pulled thread work. That's pretty much what this hem is. It's not an Italian hem stitch, I don't think. I'll have to look it up. So yeah, there we go. There's one of them that I've done. What's it called? Pointed edge stitch. No, that's not it. See how it's done on the edge there with the knot? I obviously haven't done the knot on this one. There we go, pointed edge stitch, and I've just done more rows. I don't think that's what I've done. I think it must have been out of the Schwarm book, or I've made it up. I made all it up. Anyway, there's that one that I unearthed from the coffers, from the cave of vintage textile madness and UFOs and whips and all of the above. Here's another one. Bit of brown Hessian for this one. I must have just dribbled on it. There's a spot there. So here's another one. I've done that edging in a different colour. This looks like I've used a cotton, like a, goodness, the back's a bit of a mess. But as I was saying, once you finish this hem, I don't know if I was going to do another row, maybe I wasn't. You just trim this bit off and it stays nice and neat. You don't have anything. I think I've left this here because I was going to line it. This is just going to be a bag, a carry bag. And obviously I got sick of stitching. So, and I've got a pair, I remember doing a pair of handles. Got a pair of handles somewhere. I did this edging all the way up. 2 straps for the handles. So yeah, this is another one. Different kinds of stitches on this one. Again, I've used 2-ply wool, which in hindsight might not have been a great idea because it looks like the silverfish have been into that one. This one I was going to do front and back by the looks. It can be a bit time consuming, but any work is really, isn't it? And then I've started, this one appeared as well. I've done that hem again. And then I've done what's that, split stitch, that looks like. And then below it I've done oh shit, it's not even on the bloody lens. So it looks like I've done a split stitch underneath, and then that next one's a coral knot stitch possibly. And then I've started this Schwarm work on the Hessian. There's still a bit of wool hanging here. Oh, that's not wool. That's cotton. Well, how about that? I thought that was done in wool. That's cotton. It might even be a silk blend. So it'll be interesting to see if I can find this thread again. So there's some more that I found in the... I just saw another one here. I think I showed this one the other day. Again, unfinished. So you can see here, this was going to be a trifold pouch of some kind. You can see I've stitched the outline here of where the shape was going to be cut. And I've started, this is just mattress ticking, which again, when we bought it years ago, was very inexpensive. I don't think it's as inexpensive anymore. You can get it in different colours. I've got a navy here as well. I vaguely remember buying a rose coloured pink. A green, like a bottle green. I don't know what you can get these days. I should have looked it up. But anyway, following the ticking, the stripes, I've just, see that one's not, that looks like it's just tacked on. See that green thread through there? That's not going to stay. Same with all these ribbons. They need to be stitched on. They've just been tacked on. A bit of braid over here, some sequins, and then you go and do, that looks like Portuguese stem stitch possibly, or scroll stitch. It's interesting I wasn't able to flip that over to do it in the reverse. If you see there, it's facing that way, and then that row I wanted it to face in the opposite way, and for some reason my brain wouldn't let me turn it over. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I can find, or here I've got the sequins and I've done stitches. This green rickrack I don't have on here, so I'll need to find that. But it looks like that's the only piece missing, and I'll need to find the thread I've used. That'll be bloody lucky. There's a purple one there, and a variegated green one, and a pink one. And they're like cotton broder, or what else do you call it these days? Like skein of cotton. I can't remember what it's called, for goodness sake, my memory. You can see I've actually stitched that bit of felt ribbon on. They're all stitched on. That one's not. That needs to be stitched on yet. But yeah, anyway, and I'd like to try and find at least the rickrack and the threads to finish that off. And knowing me, they're probably all in a sandwich bag somewhere, tucked away. What else did I find? Well, they're still laying down in the sun, God bless. Another one I've started. It's not very wide, and oh, that's interesting. I didn't see. There's a ribbon, obviously. That second one I've done possibly a chain stitch, and then I've stitched this little gold either side of it. I don't know if you can see that. Is that a bit better? Would have been a very fine gold thread, possibly a DMC metallic, which were a bastard to work with. They're very springy. But yeah, there's another one I've started. So there's not too much on that one, so I could be able to get away with just adding more, not having to put on the same ones. But the way this is cut, there's some wadding on the back. Bit of thread in there that I was using. The way this is cut, I would say I was going to turn this into a trifold needle book, I'd imagine. What else is in here? Oh, that's just another bit of ticking. And then I found this one I've started. So many. You've got no idea how many other things I've got in there, guys. Obviously, this is a crazy patchwork. I've started with this piece here, and then what would have gone on next? I'd say that one, and then that one, that one, that one, that one, and then you just work around that one, that one, that one. I'll show that one day if you want. Let me know if you'd like me to show you how to do this crazy patchwork. I do it all by hand. A lot of people use a sewing machine to piece this together. I like to do it all by hand to show people that, like when I was teaching, a lot of people didn't own sewing machines. So everything I've done, I do it by hand. And then I've started stitching decorative stitches on these seams. That one's got a bit of rickrack on it. And obviously there's a lot more work to do. There's another one I found. I think that's it for now for the found. It's just some of the ones I picked up anyway. The found objects in my stash. Let's move those aside. I started stitching. I don't want to show this. I wasn't going to show this because part of it's a gift for my daughter for her birthday. So I saw this new technique on how to sew in a zipper, and you start with this bit on each end. I haven't measured it yet, so I haven't done the other end yet because I need to measure it, but I've never done it this way. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. And again, I've done all that, stitched all that by hand, because I want to show that it can be done by hand. That is going to go into bugger it, I'm going to tell you now. This is another kit from Beck at So Be. I went in there the other day and met her and Lucy. Hello, Beck and Lucy. And they might have a fit when they see this poor piece of fabric. Obviously I've drawn it up and I've started, and my eyesight's really not good enough to be doing this, I don't think. I've started hand quilting. See these stitches here? And I'm using, this is what's making it more challenging, I'm using these. So I've had these for years, I can't remember how many years. I bought these, I think, when I first joined the Ugly Art Club from memory, to stitch onto watercolour paintings and tags and things. I think it was Tracy of, I think, Marmalade Mondays used to use a lot of, and still does I think, a lot of pink neon in her work, and I just fell in love with it. I found this, I wanted neon thread to stitch with, and I'm sorry, I'm just watching, someone's pulled up out the front and I'm just making sure Willow doesn't try and take off. I desperately wanted some neon thread. I found these online, they were in the UK. I saved up and saved up and saved up and bought these, had them shipped over. I think I paid 2 or 3 times more for the postage than I did for the threads. And then I packed them away so I wouldn't lose them, and I couldn't remember where I put them, so they've only just turned up again. So I'm using those, and I was going to, because this zipper's going to go in it. It's just a little, I can't remember what it's called, a little pouch that Beck's brought out, a little kit. There's a instruction card with it. I haven't brought it all out here. So the reason I'm using these threads on here is because this neon zipper's going to go in it, and it's got, doesn't look like I brought that out either. It's got a blue lining. I'm supposed to cut this in half, the instructions said, but I'm going to do it differently. Hopefully it'll work. So there, that's another thing that I'm working on at the moment. I'm not going to show you those new things I bought because, again, they're for a gift. We might be able to do a bit of catch up on the needle books. I've lost count of how many needle books I've got on the go. These poor needle books. I bought this, a lady actually commented on this. She said she'd made it, and I bought it at, how can I forget the name of that place? Hunter, oh, crying out loud. Chris and Chris own it. It's at Terrell. How can I forget it? I go there all the time. I bought it there. Oh, I can't, that's disgusting. I can't remember the name of that place, that shop. It'll come to me. So this piece of cutter quilt was in a kit I got from Beck. I have, and I've shown you guys this so many times, but if you haven't seen it, I'll go through it again. I've done blanket stitch around it and attached, I put some wadding in between. I've attached this napkin to the other side, and I've inserted this reclaimed crocheted edging from a doily. It was actually from this doily. So that was a double. The birds are on the other side in reverse, and it had all these stains and holes and things I couldn't get out, so sacrificed this beautiful, beautiful doily, which was incredibly difficult to do. The birds over here are in the needle in the book. I'm hoping to get these guys in as well. And this is the crocheted edge that was around it. You know who Kate doing that? She's such a sweetheart. So open it up. I wanted to put this piece of Sanderson in, but it doesn't work. I can't make it work, so that's going to come out. I'm not going to add that one. I'd like to try and get, and I don't know where to put this. I don't think it's right to have it smack bang there when you open it. Where's the other piece I had? Oh, okay. I'll pull this out and show you what I was thinking. So I'm still uncertain about this lace as a page. So this was going to go in here, and then I just can't decide. Possibly one of these. I need to, it will be cut down because it's too big to fit in here. So what I was thinking was this will have to, I say one I'm sure I've already folded one. I was sure I had. I thought I had one folded and ready to set in. Well, that's interesting. I can't find it. I was sure I had one folded and pressed and ready. Anyway, we've got this beautiful corner up here too, and I don't want to waste that. But if I fold it over, the pocket sleeve thing will be upside down. I wonder. I don't know how it'll go this way. See, I'll have to put a bit of a tuck in here. Right. Have I got any pins or clips out here? I think I've got some clips up here. Bear with me. They're the large ones. They might be too large for this. My daughter sent me these clips. I think she said she got them from Aldi. I've had some before, but these ones are bloody brilliant. There's small and large ones. I didn't see them. I don't get to Aldi often these days, but I'm pretty sure she said she got them from Aldi. So, and I'm not sure, this is starting to look like I've folded it too small for what I want. Actually, we're going to lose the effect if I do that. Now, what I'm thinking, again, I'm not sure if this will work. See, that's very small now. And I wanted that to be a show piece on the other side. It might have to go in the back because I don't want to lose this either. So we might have it open like such. And again, it's a lot of blue and white. Should I bring another colour in there? Open like such, and then I want to line that with something. I think I need something a bit more neutral now. So maybe we can go something like that. I'll have to, if I'm going to use this, I might have to repair that. There's a bit of crochet bit missing there. It's deteriorated. I could repair that in theory. So, and again, I don't know if this will work, but I could potentially, she's found a stick to chew on. One of my issues with doing these needle books, I struggle to not have it all symmetric. I've noticed when other people do them, they're not symmetrical, so they'll have a page thrown in here that's not mirrored on the back, if that makes sense. And I struggle to get my head around that. I don't know how to do it. So here we go. We could potentially line it with this like such. And then if we pinch that fold back, that's not going to work for this purpose. Goodness me, you can't really see what I'm doing, can you? I apologise, I'm not exactly sure what I am doing. Okay, let's fold this over just for this purpose. It's not square, is it? Okay. So in theory, we could have it something like this, possibly. Obviously a lot of neatening to be done, but gives us a bit of an idea anyway. So that could possibly go in here. And then we open that one up and we'll have pockets in there. And then I don't know what to do. I'm going to put a zippered pouch in it that I've been working on, but when I do this, if I do it the way I'm thinking, there should be a bit formed, like a pleaty bit, and then I can attach something like that. That came in the kit. Hey, stop barking, mate. Willow, come on, darling. Come on. There's more people pulled up. So I want to get that one in. This one came in the kit too. And this one. Willow! And I've also got, so I want to create things where I can add these as well. And that one might turn around. That would be better that way, wouldn't it? So I want to include that somehow. And I've got this sweet little thing, I think it's a compact case that I bought from my cousin's shop. Former Glory Emporium is the name of her shop at West Wallsend. She has some beautiful vintage textiles and vintage wares and clothing. So if you haven't been there, go and have a look. And I can't see a space where I can add this. I suppose I could, don't know where I'm going to stick her. Oops, I've just dropped a clip. I bought this the other day too from the lovely lady at I'm getting really distracted by all the noise around me. Thorpe & Co at Bullaroo. And this fabric, she didn't know what it was except that it's a fern, from Fern Textiles. And I can't remember now, she said they're in Melbourne or Victoria somewhere. Anyway, this is beautiful, beautiful fabric. It's got that pretty ditzy print on it, but it feels like actually feels like a linen cotton blend. It's quite heavy. Willow, come on darling, please, come on. So I'd like to get that in this book somewhere, don't know where. I wouldn't mind trying to get that in somehow. As I said, this one came in the kit. Again, I've got no idea how I'm going to make this work. Oh, and you know what else I haven't got yet? The bloody doctor's flannel. I haven't even got it out here. I need to get some wool in here for the needles and pins and stuff. So that will be interesting. I need to get the doctor's flannel in as well, somehow. I've got this one that came in the kit. I think I cut a larger piece of doctor's flannel. The piece that came in the kit wasn't as big as I wanted. And I cut another piece. I don't know what I've done with it. But as I mentioned, I'm also working on this. This is going to be a zippered pouch. And if you've been following along, you would have seen this. I'm going to fold this over and set in this pink neon zip. And this is going to go in this needle book somehow. And I think that will be, I'll have to remember, oh, should I have it up that way? I should have it that way because then that'll be good. Okay, just thinking out loud. Now what I'm thinking is I want the zip to be facing this way, so when it's closed the zipper pulls up here, so then I can make a tassel of some kind to hang off, and it will hang in here instead of hanging down below. Like if I turn it around, then it'll be hanging down, and I don't want that. So I want the tassel to be sort of neatly tucked in. I don't know if it'll be a tassel or a zipper pull or what, I don't know. I have bought a couple of zipper pulls from Beck when she was still at Hamilton, and I'd like to try and get these guys in as well. How on earth am I going to get all this in here? So this is my dilemma with this book, and as mentioned, I still haven't got the wool in. She's going to be a big chunky mama. Oh, crikey. Yeah, don't know how I'm going to get this one finished. So there's that one I'm working on. Then I've started another one. And this one's even chunkier. So another kit from Beck. This is the vintage silk. I've stitched all that. I pulled this part. This piece had Beck was saying this was from a vintage kimono, so it's just been cut from the kimono and the lining, the silk was still inside, so I pulled it apart and stitched the lining back in so it was all neat and flush. This piece, this is the selvage edge, so I've just folded it over and put a bit of this silk. I had a bit of extra, folded it over to try and create a little piping in under there, if that makes sense. And this was already there, that was part of the kimono. I don't know what it was, someone's already hand stitched that in with silk, so I've left that there as a feature. Then this was a bit of a remnant doily I had left over from something else. It was one that fell apart. I think Kathleen, the pouch I made for you, I think there was some of this on it. So I've added this piece in, and I'm still uncertain whether I want to keep this in there. I'm just not entirely convinced it works. The colours are right, but I'm just not convinced it works. And then I've lined it with this piece of vintage linen damask that's really deteriorating. I've tried to include that feature there. This bit here I've stitched on, which was it came from down here somewhere, up here maybe, and it just hung out too much, so I've tucked it in behind this bit of wool. That's a bit of Sue Spargo. Then I've got this crocheted piece there, and again I'm not convinced I'm happy with this. So that's what I've got so far. And then I'll probably put, I don't want to keep that bare, I want to put something there. And we turn it over to all that embroidery, and then that's the back. So Then, yeah, I'm still not convinced about either of those pieces in here. And I don't think I actually like now seeing these bits hanging out. I'm not sure. I've been debating whether to actually turn this over and stitch it on. Hang on, I dropped one of those quilting clips. I can't see it now. I was just going to clip it on there. I'll pull one off here. So I've been debating whether to stitch that down there I actually need a pin or something, don't I? So, because we're not going to see the effect with those sticking out. So when it's closed, we don't have that big bit sticking out. And what I'm thinking is, if I put a tie around it, if I leave that bit hanging out, it's going to get in the road of the tie, isn't it? So yeah, and I just don't, it's just not well balanced with that hanging out. So I think I'll flip that, turn that over and stitch it down. I think the more I look at it, this silk here is so delicate. It's actually catching on my fingers, my rough fingers. Right, so next I've got this piece of doctor's flannel that I've been working on. A bit of Suspargo actually, wool felt. I was going to put that there, and then when we open her up, it's going to be lined with this silk. So that's another piece of silk that came in the kit, and so is this. So I wanted to make a feature of this, didn't know where to put it, so I decided to add it on there. So that will open up like such, and then when we turn him over, I've done this feature. I'm not happy with this green I've used. I did that first, sort of tried to match that green to the green on the front of here. But when I did that, I wasn't thinking of doing this embroidery. So I dug through my bag of 2-ply wool and decided to stitch this cherry blossom on. Made a feature of that. Now, I've still got a lot more I want to try and fit in here, including this fabric that came in the kit. So there's this piece here. There's quite a bit of this. And then another piece of silk. And I think I'll take that off because it's not going to serve any purpose if I have this pocket down here. And then I've got, which order will I do that? I've got another doily that I'd like to fit in it. This one. And if I put that in, I'd like to line that. So I was thinking of lining that with a piece of this, because I've got this so much of this that came in the kit, this one. So line that with that. And then it's probably time for another piece of wool. So there's another bit of doctor's flannel. And I've already prepared another embroidery I was going to do. I'm not sure if I'll actually do that, or where it will go, or if it will even happen. And then I've got more of this. Where am I going to put that? If I put that in, and I've got other bits, but I'd like to try and get this doily in as well. I love this one, and the colours are just perfect. So when we close the poor bugger, look at it. So that is where I'm thinking of going with that one. But then, and I actually think she needs more wool in her. Needs to have more wool for more, and more pockets. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then, but wait, there's more. Up in here, it's my medication. I've got bits of medication in all sorts of boxes. These are just more threads I've been... wonder if they're the ones I used in that Schwarm work. They don't look the right purple, do they? Just because there's more than one of them. So some more gorgeous threads I've been finding. I've got 2 bags of 2-ply wool that I've found in my stash. There's some Edmar, some Brazilian Glory from Edmar. Those threads are glorious. And is that all of them? Oh, this is a Threadworks, beautiful hand dyed. Then I've got this little, it needs to be pressed, doesn't it? I keep finding little bits that I might put in needlebooks, see, this little guy. Now I'm thinking of doing a crochet edge around it. I think my daughter sent that one up. I've got a cottage garden in here somewhere, that's it there, that's come from that one. I'd love to buy more of these hand-dyed threads, they're just glorious. And then I found, I forgot I bought these too. I forgot about a lot of this stuff I had. It's like all my Christmases have come at once going through my stash to get rid of stuff. But then it's like, oh, I don't want to get rid of that. Oh, I don't want to get rid of that either. I'm going to have to... I honestly can't believe the things I've been unearthing from my stash. And I'm not even halfway through yet. And somehow I've got to work out what I'm going to keep to take on the big move. I've only got a small box crate, like not a shipping crate, it's smaller than that, to fit everything in. So I won't be taking anything like my sideboard or my bed, or I'm going to get a new bed. I'm not taking anything like that. I want to take my washing machine. I've got a beautiful new washing machine, and I've got some antique, Chinese antique furniture. I want to take that. But I think that'll be the only furniture I'll take, and the rest of it will be bloody sewing supplies and spinning and things like that. So I found these are linen, and I forgot, I knew I'd bought some of these. I remembered buying some, but I didn't remember that I had so many. I've got more, I've got so many of these, it's ridiculous. I probably need to start parting with some of those. I keep finding paper piecing bits. Obviously I had plans. This is what I've been using to do the embroidery. Oh, I've got to show you this. I vaguely remember buying this years ago. I would have bought it from an op shop. This little apron, and I believe it was designed to go on a wine bottle, so that would have gone around the neck of the bottle and you would have just tied that on, and they're little coasters. But I actually remember thinking at the time, I could use this in my sewing. Imagine this in a needle book as a feature. How freaking cool would that be in a needle book? So I'm going to work that into one somehow. Some of my treasures, some of my vintage yo-yos from Beck, just little bits I've been playing with. But more threads. Crikey. Down here I've got another kit from Beck. I actually don't know where this came from, it just turned up. And I actually think, I said to Beck, I actually think I can get 2 needle books out of this one kit. So this all came in the one kit. This was the green silk kit that she put out. And it's absolutely stunning. And I've pulled it all apart as well. Yeah, this was all in the kit. So there's this beautiful silk. And that was stitched. There was a seam down there where that fold is. And was it stitched onto that bit? Or, no, I think it was stitched onto this bit. And see how deep the seam was? So I've unpicked that and thought there's too much fabric that's going to disappear and go to waste. So I think, I've been fiddling with this a bit, I think I'd like to make this the cover, and it's messing with my head a bit because, oh, it goes this way. I don't want to do it upside down, so that to me is Mount Fuji, I'm assuming. That's Mount Fuji up there. And I don't know if I want to join this for the cover, or I think I will, because it's a heavier silk and it'll make a good cover. So I'll join that. And what I'm thinking, I don't know if this will work. What I'm thinking with this is, instead of doing the running stitch like all the other ones, like I've done on this one, instead of doing the running stitch, I'm thinking I might quilt around the images in the silk. Where is the... So these threads, I've added some threads to this. I can't remember which ones came in the kit. Some of them came in the kit. They must have been ones I've added because there's 2 of them out of my stash. They're not the right colour, so that would have come in the kit. One of these came in the kit. Again, I can't remember if it was, I think it was that one. And then I pulled, I think there was only 2 in the kit. I pulled some more colours. Is that the same colour? No, it's not. It's a different one. So yeah, I pulled some more colours from my stash. That one doesn't work. I'm not convinced that one works either. But, so I'm pretty sure they were the kit, right? This was what came as the cover, and I've unpicked it, deconstructed it. I'll sew that back together. These bits came with it. This was the lining that was attached to this cover. So I've got 2 bits of this silk. I've left that fold there where it was stitched in. And then there's this piece of linen that came with it. And then we've got this piece of wool, and you wouldn't believe it, this came in the kit. I've got another piece that's, I reckon, identical to this that I've had for years. And then this is I don't know if this is linen. It's, as you can see, it's stiff. Looks a bit like linen. I have to ask Beck. And it's a light greeny colour. But then these came in the same kit. So again, I've deconstructed this one that I'll stitch back together. And I'm thinking there's enough here to make 2 needle books. So this can be another cover. And then this was the lining in this bit here, and then this wool came with it. So I reckon there's a start for 2 needle books in that one kit. I mean, you could put them both in the one book, but why, when you've got all this, you can create, I reckon I can easily create, maybe this linen can go in there. I've got more linen inside. I've got more of lots of things, so I'm not going to be short of textiles, I don't think, to put in here. But how flippin' cool is that? I reckon there's enough for 2 needle books. So if you see Beck put up another drop for this green kit, this is all the stuff that comes in it, and I'm not finished yet either. I shouldn't have put it in here because now I've got it muddled up. This came with it, and this. I'm not sure if that's it now. Silly me, I should have kept it all together, shouldn't I? So I knew what was what. What a doofus. So then, I should take that off there so I can see it better. That's probably why I pulled these ones. That one could potentially go with that. Look at that. Or did I like that one with that? This one was with this one. Look at that. That's cool. So there, look, 2 kits I reckon out of that 1 kit. That's flippin' brilliant. And then I found it's not in great condition. I finally found some of these on a doily. So I've deconstructed the doily. Some of them these were really tatty. Look, they need some work. Yeah, look at that. So and they're bigger. I've actually got more don't know about the blue. The pink's actually not bad on that one, is it? That's the damaged leaf. Let's see if there's another one. The red. No, I don't want the red on the green. Orange. It's pink. There's another blue. I'm not sure about the blue, but there's also there's a nice pink. That sort of works with the green. I don't actually like the orange on it. Anyway, I've got some of those there. My daughter sent this up too. I'd like to use that. That might work in that one. Look at that. Woohoo! Like this could potentially work on the green one as well. So I've got all sorts of bits. Goodness me, I've got stuff strewn all across this bench like you would not believe. I haven't even shown you everything. Put that back up there so I know where it is. I should remove these, I think, because I'm going to get those mixed up. I've put those all in there. And I do remember thinking when I pulled them at the time, now when you sit down, make sure you separate all the ones that you actually want to use so you don't get them mixed up. And what did I do? I didn't. I fell asleep and forgot about it, of course. Right. So, where did I put that other one? Got more of this stuff. I can do some. I'm going to go through. I've got a pile. I just keep finding, and I do remember buying it. I keep finding bits of vintage wool. Most of it's wool suiting, so it's nice and fine, a bit like doctor's flannel. And I just keep finding more and more and more, which is bloody brilliant because I can use it in these projects. But I might end up making up some kits because I've got so much wool here, it's crazy. And I actually found that I had that much. I've started to make a woolen blanket out of all this suiting. So that's pretty cool too. This isn't the right thing for that, but that's a bit cool. Actually, look at this. This might work in this. This bit of fabric. What about that? Oh, look at that. That might work. So use this as the cover for another needlebook, and I can put that in it with other stuffs. I don't know what else, but that could be a goer. Woohoo! Tell you what, my brain at the moment, all I can think about, I'm so focused on needlebooks, it's ridiculous. That's all I want to make. And I think I heard Beck on one of her videos said that she just kept making them as well. When I was in the shop the other day, I was a bit overwhelmed, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right word. The shop is just stunning. If you haven't been in there, you need to go into Sobe. It's absolutely stunning. It's so inviting and cozy, and I don't know, there's beautiful vintage items all up around the shop. But when I said I'm overwhelmed, there's so many beautiful things in there. My eyes didn't know where to go. I just wanted to take it all in. I wanted to see everything and, you know, experience everything that was in there in 10 minutes. But, oh my gosh, it's just... And of course I wanted to buy all the things. I went in to buy my daughter something for her birthday. I didn't get what I wanted. I bought her a couple of other things that I hope she'll like, but I picked up something else on the counter and I got so distracted talking to Beck and Lucy that... And I was tossing up whether to get this one or that one. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm hoping I can still go in and get one for her. I get that one or that one, or should I get that one? I'll look at that one. And I was chatting at the same time. And on the way home, Mum was going through what I bought because she stayed in the car with Willow. And I said, oh, look for this thing, look for the thing. It looks like a matchbox that's in this. She said, it's not there. I said, it has to be, it has to be. And we went through the receipt and I'd forgotten to hand it to Lucy to pay for it. So it's still in the shop unless someone else has bought it. So there you go. Don't do a me. Don't get distracted and have a chat while you're at the counter trying to buy what you want to buy, because if you're anything like me, you forget what you want. I was kicking myself. So I might have to make another run in there. I mean, I can probably ring and ask them to post it, but it's just such an experience and a joy to go into the shop. I'm just packing these things up a bit. So look, that would even work in that needle book. What felt's in that one? That's a different colour. See, that's a nice rosy pink in that one, although that'd still work. Anyway, that's there. I want to be careful. I add these things that are sort of mid-century, potentially, or later. And sometimes in my brain, I just don't think they work. I'm stuck in, and I have stepped out of it. You would have noticed from the work I'm doing. When I start a needle book, I always start with the cover. I find that the easiest way for my brain to process what I'm doing and how to put it together. So I start with the cover, and then I'm stuck on trying to have everything in it from the same era, from the same, you know, like if the cover's from the 1950s, the textile, my brain tells me that everything else that goes into it has to be from the 1950s. If it's from the 60s, everything has to be from the 60s. If it's from the 1900s, everything that goes in has to... And I can't keep doing that because I don't have enough stuff to have all 1950s, all 1970s, all 1900s. I just don't have enough to do that. So you would have noticed the other books I've done, I have strayed away, and it's a bit of a mishmash. But sometimes it does my head in to see that mishmash, if that makes sense. That won't work. That'd be from the 670s, I suppose. No, that's way too lolly pink. Lolly, lolly, lolly. I've got some little bits of Tilda here. That's a bit of Mum and Son. Mum and Son. I called it Momsen the other day. What a dope. I walked into the shop and said, do you have any Momsen? My daughter said, you silly goose, it's Mum and Son. Oh, it is too. Pays to put your glasses on. I don't think there's anything in this pile that will work with it. Oh, that might. Bit of Liberty. It's not the right colour, I don't think. Bit of that. No. No, that one doesn't work. Oh. No. Oh. That might work, maybe. No. So I'm just sort of auditioning pieces of fabric to see if the colours work, if the patterns sort of play together. I'm trying very hard not to buy more because, as you probably know, I need to get rid of stuff with this move. I'm moving, so I can't keep hanging on to everything. Right. What else have I got? That doesn't work with that. That goes over there. I got this out to look at these, you silly goose. I get so sidetracked, distracted. I've got heaps, oh well, not heaps, I've got a few more of these inside. Picked some out of the jar the other day at the shop to buy some more and ended up putting them all back. I kept changing my mind. But there's a lot of colours happening in that back one. I'm not overly pleased with that at the moment. I'm going to have to rein it in, I think. All these, I've got a drawer, little drawer, about the size of a shoebox, full of different lace medallions and crocheted medallions that I've been collecting. Oh, a string of puffs. They might work maybe in there, but do I want them in there? See, another little. That's a nice one. That'd work in that one, I think. I'll probably pull these for that big. Oh, look at that. For that big blue one, I'd say. Stop barking, please, Bubba. Little bits of felt I've saved from another project. You never know when you might be able to use that. Bit of lace. I think a friend gave me those. I think Chris gave me those bits. I still can't remember the name of her shop. Someone just told Willow to shut up. I don't like other people telling her to shut up when I'm out here. Willow. Come on. She's really stressed about it. She's got drool pouring out of her face. She's obviously not happy about those people being there. It's people next door. She's stressing out about them for some reason. Right. So, crikey, I've got stuff. I've made myself a lovely big mess here. I was hoping, I've been trying to get out here. I say this every time I start these videos. I've been trying to get out here since about 9 o'clock this morning. It's now probably, nearly 3:30, and I'm losing light already. The sun is actually just about to go behind the house next door. So, I'm going to have to pack up, I think. Here's some of my buttons, some vintage buttons. Every now and then I might see one or two vintage buttons and I pick it up, buy it. I'm starting to get a little collection. I like the ones from like the 1920s. Look at this one. Isn't that cute? A lot of these I've had down in my room, in my craft room for years. Some of them, oh no, I think the ones I picked up from Chris's shop. What is the name of her shop? It's not oh crap, no, that is ridiculous that I can't remember. There's one in here. Is it in here? No, it's over here. Look at this one, it's glass. This is a bit of a treasure. Isn't that awesome? I love that button. I need to find something special for that. I mean, some people have some that are much more beautiful and older and more extravagant than that, but I love that one. There's another. This isn't glass, but it's still a bit cool. This one's glass. This next one. Isn't that nice? I reckon that maybe the gold's worn off. You can just see that little glints of gold. I think the gold's all worn off that one, but that's a pretty one. This is, I think this is mother of pearl, but it's a bit different. It's got a frame around it. What else have I got? Oh, this is another glass one. That one's pretty cool. And most of the time I've only got one of these. And these ones I'm showing you now came from the cave of vintage textile treasures that I've had for years. And again, I might have just seen, it's another glass one. I might have just seen one in the op shop and picked it up years ago. Or a little bag, little satchel with some in. Most of the rest of these are mother of pearl in that tray. That one feels like a plastic of some kind. This one's cool. It's got it's not mother of pearl, it's some sort of plastic. These aren't all of them. I've got more somewhere. I've got more that I've got from Chris's recently. But yeah, I like the 1920s style. I've got a bag of these. I started this years ago. Look at that hexagon. I should dig those out and show you too. Another glass one. It looks like that was gold as well. See, there's gold paint. Or is that just fabric? It would help if I put my bloody glasses on, wouldn't it? Bit of fabric or thread jammed in there that made me think that it was gold paint that was worn off. Bits of mother of pearl ones. I've got a jar of mother of pearl inside. I collect it. And again, I might just see one mother of pearl and I pick it up, add it to the jar. These ones are a bit boring. Yeah, so I do like the old vintage button. That one to me, it makes me think that might be from the 20s or 30s, this style. I don't know, it just seems art deco-y and oldish. I don't know how to explain why I think that. Most of these I reckon would be from the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe 50s even. The red one of those. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? It just looks a bit art deco, art nouveau sort of. Don't like the ones on shanks as much for some reason. They just don't seem to be as versatile as the flat ones. That's snuck in there. And again, these have all been collected from all different places over the years. This one's a bit worn and grubby. I don't know. I need to do more research. I don't know if some of these are Bakelite. See, this one's cracked. Some of them really crack and craze. If you know, look at that poor one, how to identify. Oh, I've got a bit of sweet potato on my thumb from cooking Willow's breakfast. You know, I've washed my hands I don't know how many times since then. Look at this one, it's cherries. That feels like glass too. Can you see it's hard to see it. Can you see the cherries? How cool is that one? I wonder if it was painted at all, because they're really hard to see. That one's cool. Maybe I should put that with those other glass ones, hey? But even, so I like that one. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure you're probably getting bored silly looking at my vintage buttons. That's a little linen one. That one's cute. That's a pretty one. That's sort of pearlescent effect. I remember my grandmother was a dressmaker, and my aunt and uncle at one stage owned a haberdashery store. So when that closed, my grandma ended up with a lot of haberdashery, including jars of buttons and zippers. I've still got some of them here. Zippers and things. And I remember a lot of the buttons that she had that sort of fake or faux pearlescent. Is there any here? It's hard for me to explain. Here's one. And to me they were really 70s. See that? There's some kind of plastic. This isn't one of hers. But they had that sort of flash, I suppose. And I used to hate them. I don't know why. I thought they were the ugliest bloody things. And now, look at that one. See, I wonder if that one's Bakelite, just because of the, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously old, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s even. I need to do more research. I really struggle to identify some of these buttons. I don't know enough about them. Look at that one. Look at the design on that. Get that bit of... That's a bit Art Deco, isn't it? Some mother of pearl. I love them. And don't do, if you collect mother of pearl, don't do what I've done. I put them all in a big coffee jar, and they tend to chip and break in the jar, so I don't know how to store them. Had some really huge ones, and they've just sort of split in half. They don't like being kept in a jar. Mother of pearl. Look at this one. How teeny tiny it is. I mean, I've got smaller ones, but not vintage. That one's quite old by the looks. Okay. Tell you what, I'm getting sore standing up here. That one's cute. Have I shown you that one yet? A lady I know, a quilter, lent me her jar of buttons, tin, and I know I put it away to make sure I wouldn't use them, and I don't know where the hell I've put them. I can't find them. I know I haven't used them. I distinctly remember putting them away so I wouldn't use them all on her. I did use one or two, and I used a little wooden toggle thing. It's actually a curtain hanger thingy. But I can't for the life of me find her jar of buttons, and it's really starting to distress me. That tin. I shouldn't have borrowed things like that. Oh, shoes, I just threw one on the ground. I'll have to get that later because I can't see a bloody thing. Okay, buttons. Oops, another one just fell. Right. Is there anything I can stitch with you today? I don't think there really is, especially since oh, this is what I was going to do. I'm sure you're going to be riveted watching me do this. There's another escapade. Those of you with sharp eyes might have noticed my bench has changed. It's actually just, I'll tell you a secret, you've probably worked it out, it's just like vinyl. And the one on the other side got too damaged, so I flipped it over. But I'd like to find, oh, look at that. I'd like to find some more of the lighter one. This one's too dark for my liking. So I know I had that. Yeah. I'm using this little quilting needle. And done pink, done green, I think. I don't know, I was going to do 3 colours. It's not yellow. I've done yellow. It's yellow. Looks bloody green on the fabric. So I've done that pink, that yellow. What else should I do? A green. The green and the yellow look so close together though on the fabric. This is the zipper that's going to go in, so I probably should put some yellow in, shouldn't I? I'll put this needle down and not be able to find it. Because I can't get this open. Yellow. I just don't think it's going to show. Right, we don't need much. I'll tell you what, this sewing machine thread is incredibly difficult to quilt with by hand. Bloody needle. And trying to thread this, maybe I can, I wonder if this will work. It's not going to focus on it. Crying out loud. Oh, I got it in, watching through the monitor. How about that? Oh, I was chuffed with that. Now, see if I can do a quilter's knot. I'm watching through the monitor doing this instead of at the actual. Ah, it worked, yes. Now, go on a goose. I've just threaded the yellow. Pink, yellow, I was going to do green. So pink, yellow, that row there will be yellow. That one. Oh, this is really challenging, doing it through the monitor and not actually watching you. Huh. I think I need more light, guys. I don't. This needle would be better for doing binding and things, I think, rather than this. That stitch looks too big to me. Is it just because it's... If I get to the point where I fill in the other colours and I'm on the wrong row, I'm going to spew. Yellow, green, pink, yellow. I think I've got the right one. So I don't like doing my stitches like this because I can't get them the length I want. They always end up a bit too long for my liking. So I usually end up just doing stab stitch all the way along. I've pulled another thread through with that. Look at that. Now this is not in on the pattern card that comes with the kit, but I decided to try and do this anyway. And like I said earlier, This is a real challenge, hey? Like I said earlier, I'm trying to do the entire thing by hand to show that if you don't have a sewing machine, you can still do them. And it also gives me a challenge, because I need more challenges at the moment. I can see sweet potato on my thumb and it's driving me bananas. Hey, 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 don't dig up the front lawn. That's naughty. Don't dig a hole in the front lawn. Are you ready to come inside? Do you want to come inside? Have you had enough? Don't dig up the lawn, please, bug. I am trying to grow it despite appearances. Okay. So, at the moment, this is all I'm doing. When I finally try and... Oh, see that stitch is too big for my liking, so I've got to try and pull it back. And I haven't caught the back of that, gone all the way through. I can feel it, I haven't. This is why I don't like stitching like this. Don't you dig? She's out there laughing her head off, got a big grin on her face, being a big goofy buffhead. See, look, I don't like these big long stitches. Hang on. You right? Oh, she's playing with the lead now. You're a silly goose. Can you hear her jumping around? Hang on, I'll try and turn you guys around so you can see. Look, now that I've said that, she's stopped doing it. So I probably need to try and keep talking. So here we go. I want you to see what she's doing. Someone's obviously feeling better. Hang on, I'm going to unplug this because I'm a bit restricted. Okay. What you doing? Hey? So, yes. Big difference compared to the girl we saw who couldn't stand up a few weeks ago. What are you doing, you silly girl? See where she just started to dig a hole? I haven't mowed for a while, so I think she thinks she's going to fix that for me. What you doing? What you got? What have you got? Hey? What you got, silly girl? What are you doing? Are you going to jump around and play and show everyone how happy you are? Are you? Hey? Are you going to jump around and show everyone? Come on. I don't have your ball or anything. Where's the ball? Have you got a ball out there? Hey? Come on, show everyone how silly you've been. Come on. You're just dancing around, throwing your head in the figure eight and laughing away. As soon as I put the camera on you, you stop. Go on. What you doing? Oh, I'm trying to get the camera out of the stand so I can stabilise it a bit. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen for us. Hang on. Oops, you just saw my face. I'm still here, guys. I'm just trying to take this off. Bear with me. Should come off in a sec. Ah, come on. I can't. Oh, this might be better. Why didn't I think of that in the first place? Okay. That might be better. How's that? What are you doing, silly girl? So much for sewing, guys. We're doing doggy. Hey? Careful you don't hang yourself. You silly girl. What are you doing? Okay? What are you doing? Here's a silly girl. What are you doing? I know. Oh, don't knock me over, you silly Bill. You know not to jump on me. Someone's so excited. Goodness me. Hey? Silly Billy. There's kids next door too. That usually revs her up. So yes, you can see she's feeling much better. Yes, you are, aren't you? Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, don't jump. You silly Bill, you're getting cold, aren't you? You silly Billy. You silly Billy. Oh goodness gracious. Oh, she comes over every night when I'm sitting down to do stitching or something at the table. She reverses up, walks backwards, looks over her shoulder, and it's like beep, beep, beep. Wants me to give her a bum scratch on the top of her. Who's been silly? I don't know if people want to watch you playing around like a big turkey. Hey? This is what we do of an evening. She only stands there for maybe 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and then she's had enough, usually. Off she goes and lays down or plays or... But that bloody leg that the vet said they might have to amputate, look at it, this one here. That knee she did had an infection. Well, we think it was an infection because the antibiotics and the painkillers worked. Boop. Boop to snort. And yeah, look at it now. You wouldn't even know. Wouldn't even know that she couldn't walk and they were talking about amputating. Silly Billy. Right, guys. I'm sure you don't want to watch me doing this for the rest of the evening. This happy girl, especially since we're doing the head toss again. Especially since we're here to do stitching. Yes. You're going to start purring. She purrs. She gets this, it sounds like she's purring when she's happy. A bit of dandruff happening, squish. Yeah. She does this even when she hasn't got the lead on. We do the head toss. Get all excited. Goodness me, we need to give you a good brush in there again. Hey, only just had a shower. I'm just going to cover the screen so you can't see all my gardening stuff piled up everywhere. And come back up. Goodness gracious, I've got a mess up here. So we're losing light rapidly. I'll just try and attach this again. And it's not going to attach, of course. Come on, you bugger. Righty-tighty, isn't it? How old am I? And I've still got to tell myself righty-tighty, lefty-loosey sometimes. I don't think it's going to do up. I'll slowly get in there. No, it fell off again. I'll just come over here. Goodness gracious, we're going to be here all day. Now that I've done that, it's greasy. Okay. So, yeah, that's where I was up to. This is just going to be a little zippered pouch. If you want one... I lost my volume. Sorry, I wonder how long that was down. This is just going to be a zippered pouch. Let's done it again. For some reason my volume keeps turning off. How on earth do I fix that now? Volume. Where's the volume? I don't know what's going on. There we go. No, why does it keep losing it? I don't know if you guys can hear me because it's flashing at me saying that I've got no volume. So, What can I do? Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. So I'm trying to trying to tell you what's going on. I've only got one hand, which is making things difficult. It's telling me I have no volume. Again, I don't know if you can hear me because it's telling me that I don't have any. Despite. So, I don't know if you guys can hear me. It's telling me that you can't. It's telling me I've got no sound. So So if you can't hear anything, I've just tried to write a message. If you can hear me, thank you so much for joining us today. And once again, I know every time I do a video I promise that I'll be more organised and I'll actually teach something. Hopefully next time I will. With any luck, I can do one tomorrow. But I'm still getting people coming up here. It says there's still people joining. And the sounds actually start flashing, so maybe it's come back. So if you are here with me, you can hear me. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off because I'm losing light. I just kicked the bloody stand. Bear with me for a second. I'll say good night. I'll try and show you that the sun's going down. We're losing light rapidly. Oops, that didn't help. And it's time for Willow and I to pack up for the evening. The wind's coming in. It's getting very cool. And I don't think I've got enough light out here to keep stitching, so I'll say good night and thank you so very much for joining us. What I will do is, all things going well tomorrow, and I don't get any unexpected visitors dropping in, which I always love my visitors dropping in because it's always people that I adore. Or I might get a phone call, like a FaceTime. I get those from my daughter, which I don't like to miss out on. So all things going to plan, and I don't have any unexpected guests tomorrow. I'll try and get up early and start early in the day while we've got plenty of light, and we'll try and do some stitching together, hey? I'll try and come up with something that I can show you again that I haven't done for a while. I don't think I've actually finished any of the projects I've started on here yet. Yeah, I'm not very organised. I've just noticed Willow's completely annihilated my apple plant. But yeah, I'll get going because there's people coming and she's gonna go bananas. And thank you guys so much once again for joining us, and I'll see you next time.